Okay, guys, welcome to today. And I've titled this Hitting the Button, but I mean, why do you need to think about hitting the button? What do I mean about hitting the button? I don't mean
I
hitting
have
the,
no idea.
I
Enlighten
don't
us.
mean, I don't mean hitting a big red
Because I
button
was
like
looking at this and thinking, hitting the button, wealth
hitting the
creation.
button. Yeah. And I don't mean hitting a big red button like you do in a game show and things. It's more about that realization of where you are, where you want to be, how you're going to get there, who's going to help you get there, and what you need to know to get there. Do you know that realization and that point of readiness, I think, which is a thing in my own journey that I keep getting to points and I'm like, right, it's strange. You think, how did I not realize this before? You weren't quite ready, that's why. And I think these are the stepping stones that you go through and you're in anybody's journey. If you're trying to be successful, you're trying to build wealth, and do you know that understanding of money and that learning process and having the right people around you. And that's what we're going to try and talk through today. And obviously, Jim, through your years of your journey, I'm sure you'll have a lot of insights into having the right people around you, learning the right things, having a focus on what you're trying to achieve and how you're going to get there.
The phrase that springs to mind in this is what I was thinking about the other day, and it's when opportunity comes,
Uh-huh.
you're too late to prepare.
Yeah, I seen you write something
That's
about that the other
exactly
day.
the one it should be, isn't it? That completely applies. When opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare.
Mhm.
Because you should have prepared. It's all about preparation in the very beginning for when the opportunity appears. It is not the other way around. And this
Mhm.
is what we need to talk about on the hitting the button for wealth creation. It's
Mhm.
the it's you got to be prepared and what you need to do to be prepared. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's it. These things are so cliched, and people on social media and that will be rolling their eyes. And it's like you're probably sitting in your bedroom typing at your laptop now, and you're
Yeah.
stony broke. Maybe you should just take a look at that, because I'm
And
not.
that's what I think a lot of people think is when people think about wealth and money and how people have accumulated possibly success, they associate it with these, do you know, these quick overnight successes and breakthroughs. Do you know, something that probably like somebody's been successful with an idea that's come to them in the middle of the night, or do you know they've done a lucky trade, or do you know they won the
I
lottery?
had I had someone having a go at me on TikTok.
Hmm.
As if I'm going to bother about that, but this is so comical. Having a go at me, what we said about last week about my portfolio that I sold to my company. But in
Hmm.
that time, in the 20 years, I made 106% in terms of capital appreciation in that portfolio. And obviously, inflation was 78% over that same time. So I actually beat inflation. And this guy started to slag me off, and say, that's nothing in comparison to anything. I looked at his followers and I looked at everything else, and he had about 3 friends. And it's like, what the hell do you know? You're probably sitting in your bedroom with your jammies on, with your mum shouting on you for your tea, and you're
And
sitting slagging me off for making millions. And it
uh,
says, I think you've got your math wrong. You've also forgot about the 2.2 million it was made in rents over that period as well, which isn't part of the 106% improvement.
mhm,
And the 2.2 million went on to buy another 50 properties.
mhm.
And that's not even factored into either, which generated even more rents. It's like, my God, this is an exponential return. And I thought it's just a broad brush we did. But the reality is, if I really worked that out down to the nth degree, I think we could be in the thousands
Mhm.
in terms of the return on investment. But hey, who cares? I just found it absolutely comical. If you're sitting there and you're criticizing us right now for about wealth creation and talking about wealth creation and results that we've had so far and results that we've got to come, and you're sitting in your bedroom, your mum's shouting on your teas out, it's like you got to take a real good look at
Yeah.
yourself and have a checkup from the neck up.
Mhm. And that's where it comes into where you let the right and the wrong people into your headspace, because these types of people could get into people's headspace and knock them off. And really, they've no criteria to be
The dream
speaking to.
stealers.
Yeah, yeah.
The dream stealers, that's what they are. They are a dream stealer. They're the people that sit in the cheap seats, while the people like us are out in the arena fighting it out, building wealth, creating opportunities all the time. And they're the ones sitting there criticizing, and they're doing hee haw. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. Nada. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we talk about this proverbial hitting the button thing, it's not like it's hit the button and things change overnight. It's very much in the real life. It's not as dramatic as that. And this is the key word. It's almost boring at times because it's something that takes a medium to long term, and that's the key thing here. Where I think in society now, people think that it's going to be an overnight, or a couple of years, and I'll be successful.
The amount of times that I've had to hold myself back and just be bored, especially with my training as well. I mean, I've got a sore back, a lower back, and I know what's caused that. It was, somebody did deep tissue massage, but they went overboard and they started stretching me. I felt like Stretchy Armstrong when they'd finished me. I didn't know, you know about that with the
I remember.
Used to pull this wee thing apart, and it's like that's what I think she was trying to find my tolerances. Anyway, this was when I was at Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. So I think I've got it from that, and it's like and my watch is going, run today, run today, run today. And I'm like, no, I can't run today because if I run today, my back is just going to get worse. I need to let this settle. I'm getting an implant as well, so I've had the tooth extraction, and they went, you cannot train tomorrow or do anything strenuous because your blood pressure will rise, and obviously it might start bleeding again your gum. And I'm like, oh, all right, okay. So today is a rest day. But it's learning to be able to do that, because that is not in my nature to do.
Yeah.
So it's understanding your limits, but it's also understanding your limits, so you can push them. So it's either side of these limits. It's you know when to actually slow down, or you know when to take it easy, or you know when to be bored. Boredom's good for you, by the way.
Yeah.
People going about mental health and all the rest of it, and their timeouts and their relaxation and everything like that. Yeah, when you put them in a room and they've got nothing to do, it's like, oh, I need something to do. It's like you should identify it straight away that is a problem. But it's also knowing when to push yourself and how far you can push yourself.
And there's definitely a balance there, but you're right. I mean, the boring side of things has to be part of it, and a lot of people are impatient, and that's their downfall. And looking at things like choosing to learn things instead of possibly scrolling through social media for hours and hours on end, which I know everybody's guilty at some point, or
well, apparently the average is the average that people scroll every day is the height of the Eiffel Tower.
That's crazy.
On average. Yeah. The height of the Eiffel Tower is what people scroll on social media on their phones every day on average. Every single person on average. That's mental.
That is. And just think what you could do with that time rather than looking at just inane videos, because most of them are. But also thinking about, saving instead of being spending, and building things instead of being, we were talking about instead of being a consumer. Build instead of consuming. We spoke about that the other day, because everybody's so inherently programmed to be a consumer and buy things and sucked into this. So there's a sale on, I'll have to buy something. Why?
Yeah.
Just
I've got 2 for 1, or I've got 3 for the price of 2, and all the rest of it. It's like, do you not think that's factored into it? I've got to say, the other day, it's like I was down and I was looking for salted peanuts, and I was really proud of myself because I saw the Christmas tins that you get of peanuts, and it's like they're $1.49, and I'm like, what? And it's like that ends up like it was something like £2 a kilo, when I worked it out, and yet normal peanuts are like £13 a kilo, and I'm like, I'm having a couple of tins of them because I was, protein and all the rest of it with me being vegan. I thought that's perfect, because that's the type of things I eat. When I'm snacking, I don't go straight away for chocolate or sugars. I'll go for salted peanuts or peanuts and raisins, these sort of things, because that keeps obviously your insulin levels under control. It doesn't put too much pressure on your body, because obviously you're not putting sugars into it to process everything, and it's got really good fiber content and really good protein. And I keep saying to everybody keeps going on about protein. Fiber is probably going to evolve as one of the most important things you should ever have for your body. Fiber does everything. It slows down the absorption of the sugars when it hits your body, so therefore you don't become obese as a result. You don't become insulin resistant. You don't become type 2 diabetes, anything like that, because you're taking loads and loads of fiber. And obviously, your movements and all the rest of it, if everybody knows what that is, your doctor talks about that to you sometimes. These sort of things become a lot easier as well. That's, I think, fiber is the most underrated thing that we're not focusing on right now. I don't think proteins is important.
Yeah,
Who's died about protein?
I mean,
Who's died about protein?
So much, and foods. And
no one. No one in existence. No one. It's like you've got people that obviously suffer from things that are lack of fiber, I would say, but it's certainly no lack of protein.
Interestingly, and just to kind of sidestep a wee bit from topic, but when you're speaking about peanuts and things, because I was reading the other day about people's diets that possibly don't have like meat and things in it, and you could end up having a copper deficiency. But things like nuts and potatoes, and there's certain things you could eat to replace that, so that you don't, because a copper deficiency could be quite detrimental if it's like prolonged.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that, I mean, obviously consult nutritionalists and all the rest of it. There's a lot of things you've got to do, like to take in certain ones, you've got to have other vitamins in order to work as a catalyst or something to absorb the other vitamin into your body. So you can take one single vitamin and it'll just go straight through you, because you need another vitamin to obviously complement it and allow it to absorb into your system, to bond onto. So these are all the different things. But again, you think, I could hear people sometimes thinking to themselves, the hell's this got to do with wealth creation? And it's like, but your health is your wealth. It's the old cliche.
I'm also,
if you don't have your health, you'll not be here to create any wealth at all.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tie it into obviously what we're talking about. Like, your health is something that you think about quite a lot, Jim, and you've learned so much about it so that you could do it properly. And it's the same with anything. And like we were saying about hitting the button with wealth creation and things, it's not like you're going to instantly become wealthy. It means you stop, you kind of outsourcing your future to chance and start learning and asking different questions and learning about what you need to do to get to where you want to be in your journey, like your goals and things. And things like, we're going to talk about money and people's relationship with money, but you need to start asking yourself questions about, how does money actually work? And you might look at other people and think, how does it seem that some people, have that compounding effect while others just kind of burn out? But look at the successful people that don't burn out and see why they don't, and think about your time as well. What do you spend your time on as well? That's something that's been kind of prolific for me a lot, because when you actually break it down and look what you spend your time on, you really need to change what you're doing on a day-to-day basis in order for the bigger picture to change. So it's asking questions and learning.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say about the burnout and all the rest of it, and it's like other people, why do they know burnout? I think they do. I just think they don't tell you.
They just don't make it. They just don't make it.
I don't think they talk about it. I don't think they talk about it. I'm definitely convinced that a lot of them have actually reached a burnout at some point, but they've just never spoken about it, and they've made it out. It's been, they just don't think that's necessary to talk about that in their journey, because it maybe doesn't align with what their maybe doesn't align with what they're trying to pitch. Yeah, it doesn't align with what they're trying to pitch, because they're maybe pitching things like a relaxation trip, place to go to. An oasis where people can relax and juice and all the rest of it, and it's like the next minute it's like they're not even relaxing themselves, and their lifestyle's hectic because they're trying to create this and build this company, and it's like, okay, so ironic. How can you do that if it doesn't align? So that's why you won't hear about it.
Would you say anyone who's relatively successful or had success and wealth and things, they must have at some point reached a point where they've had a bit of burnout, because no journey's full of roses. There's always bumps along the road.
I think it's obvious. Nowadays, because of the way we are, and because of a lot of our lives are actually lived out on social media now. It's kind of it's kind of nice and refreshing to see other people and what their journeys are, and to see their success, and actually to know that what you're going through is just probably what they're going through as well. And it's like, oh right, okay, this is just normal part of the journey. Whereas a lot, people do think it's like this is exceptional and unique to them. Things like burnout and things like things happening to them, maybe illnesses or anything like that. But some people just don't show it. They don't tell anybody. That's it.
Yeah.
And
social
everybody
media,
thinks, oh, it was so easy for you. And they're going, well, let me tell you a story. It wasn't that easy.
social media is always so easy just to show the bright side. But sometimes it's probably good to show the dark side and the struggles, and because that's the reality. And like you say, a lot of people will probably resonate with it a lot more because it's possibly what they're experiencing themselves. And then they might think, oh, it's not just me. Do you know this happens to other people? This is
what I used to think when I saw people like that was were really successful and they were demonstrating burnout and all the rest of it. I goes, well, there's hope for me.
Yeah.
I used to think that to myself. Well, there's hope for me then, because if it's like that for them, I'm going through this now, and it could be like that. I know it's normal. I now know it's a normal process of actually being successful. It's like, and that's why I talk about a price you've always got to pay, but you don't know what that price is until you start the journey. I mean, don't put yourself off by saying, oh, because that person paid the price for their success, and I want the success that they've got, not their success, but similar success. I've got to pay that price as well. It's like, well, no, you might not have to pay that price. That person might have had to go through something mentally in order to get over their preconceived ideas that they've had since childhood. They might have a disability that you don't have. They might have a learning disability that you don't have. So it might be easier for you. It might actually be more difficult for you because you don't have that learning disability, believe it or no.
Yeah, because some people are really good with numbers and things, and
because when you've got these sort of things like dyslexia, it's like you've only got one way to go. You've not got a number of choices now. It's like, I have to be a great salesperson, because if I'm not a great salesperson, there's nothing else going for me because I've got dyslexia.
You've not got the analytical side,
Yeah, that's that sort of thing. So that's so. This is why they talk about dyslexia and other things as well, possibly Tourette's, possibly when people aren't able-bodied. These sort of things actually possibly were the making of them. They wouldn't have achieved what they achieved without that. Paralympians
pushed them to capitalize on their strength.
Yeah, look at Paralympians. If we didn't have the Paralympics, would anybody know about them?
Yeah, I know. It would be
possibly not.
No. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And playing to your strengths. I mean, whether you've got, but everybody's got their strengths, and whether you're a people person, a sales person, or whether you're very analytical, good with numbers, or you're good with, systems and processes, or a combination of that. If you play to your strengths and really run with that, you could be very successful, regardless of what field you're in. Yeah, I did want to talk about our relationship with money and people in general, and I think in the UK and that particularly in comparison to like the US and the continent and things, we've sometimes got quite a complicated relationship with wealth, and the fact that possibly we don't like to talk about it that much. Some people feel a wee bit apologetic wanting it and downplaying it. When people get close to being successful and sometimes wealthy, they kind of downplay it a bit. I mean, have you seen that through your
when
years?
When you're wealthy in America, most people go, congratulations. How can I help you? Because they see if they get onto their coattails, they might be able to take them with them. Whereas the culture in Britain seems to be, when you're wealthy, it's like, well, don't talk about it and become envious.
That kind of push it down, yeah.
Yeah, it's like don't brag because there's other people in poverty. Yeah, they're in poverty because you're keeping them in poverty. You're not telling them how to do anything for themselves. All you're doing is making it worse by actually just agreeing with them. Yeah, you're in poverty. Tell you what, I'll get down in that hole with you and commiserate with you. It's like, no, I'll get a ladder and put it down into that hole and help you to climb out. So it's a different culture. It's just, and it's an ethos, and I think it's driven mainly by the possibly the governments in power. The socialistic attitude towards the let's keep helping the impoverished. Yeah, absolutely, but let's lift them up rather than lift them out, rather than actually just keeping giving handouts to people all the time. Let's show them a way out. It's the old thing about, you can give a man, a fish and he eat for a day. You can teach them how to fish and he'll eat for life. So let's teach people how to fish.
Yeah, and it seems that, and especially in Britain and things, it's like that inherently ingrained in people that if you've got money, you've inherited it, or you possibly lucked out on the lottery or something. But
you're a drug dealer.
Yeah, or a drug dealer. But whereas in America, it's a lot more, like success is really celebrated, and people building success and building businesses and things. I mean, I'm not saying that doesn't happen here in Britain, but it's we still hold on to that kind of outdated approach that money is inherited or or acquired some way, rather than done through your own success. And to pursue money and wealth and things too enthusiastically is kind of frowned upon still.
Yeah, probably. Whereas try doing anything without wealth. Try doing anything without money. It's like it is a capitalistic system we run in and we operate in. You can't do anything without it. Try funding the NHS without money. You can't. We're not, and this is the crazy thing about AI. It's like, well, we'll just give everybody a salary and the robots can do all the work for us. Okay, that makes no sense at all, because it's like, okay, we're going to give everybody a salary, but the people actually developing the robots and owning the robots are kind of going to be miffed about that, aren't they? Because it's going to the money's going to have to come from them, because it can't come from government borrowing. And could you imagine? And that's like a heightened example of what it's like just now. I mean, how standoffish are some people about other people being on benefits?
Yeah.
Think about that. That's going to be heightened if you're going to do that other way, because that's the same thing. That's all you're doing, giving people handouts. And how is that going to work in society, the culture? I mean, imagine people just giving you... It sounds nice, the fact that somebody's going to give you money every single time and you can just buy whatever you want and do nothing. It's like, as a human being, we have to do something. We can't evolve to the point or devolve to the point where we're actually doing nothing but consuming. That's like the people sitting on the loungers in Wall-E with the the masks on, the meta masks. And it's like that's all they're doing. They're in a virtual world. And the girls walking about the ship, and it's like there's nobody interacting, they're just all lying on couches. It's crazy. That is my worst nightmare.
Yeah, and people might think, oh, that's just like tongue in cheek, but potentially, like it's somewhere we could end up if you go down the wrong path with.
Absolutely. So this thing about to pursue wealth and all the rest of it, that is a natural aspiration. It is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs when you think about it. It's the self-actualization, which is the pinnacle of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's the need to feel loved and be loved and feel valued. And that's what self-actualization is all about. That's probably the most important thing in our human race and the way we've evolved and the way we've developed. And it is the self-actualization also comes from about this helping others as well.
Yeah.
When you get a bit of wealth, you go and help other people, and it makes you feel good about yourself. And I bet it makes them feel good because you're helping them.
Yeah.
Because they're not getting help by anybody else. They're not getting help for the government. I could probably tell you that for a start. It's probably holding them back, to be honest.
And when you talk about like the government and the educational system and things as well, people you're brought up to and you grow up and learning how to earn money. It's like you have to get good grades at school, get a good job, work hard, and almost nothing about how to keep your money or grow your money, or and it's the pay-by-e system does all that thinking for you, and that's what we're all programmed to do, workaround type thing.
Yeah, that's it. The industrialized system was of education was built on an industrialized society. But now we're into automation and a new revelation and AI and all the rest of it. The system that we've got just now in education doesn't take into account of that. And by the time we change that, we'll have evolved into another need for a different type of education system to do that as well. I do, and I know it's going to come eventually. We're going to end up leaning into what people are really good at and saying, okay, if you're all good at math and you love doing maths, what's the point of trying to teach you to do English and all the rest of it? Yes, basic understanding, all the rest of it, but is it really going to help them? Possibly not.
I think that by the time you're in secondary education, you've got a basic knowledge of the core studies anyway. So I think
nowadays you can just go into ChatGPT and just get that to do it for you. What's the point?
But I think when you get into that level of secondary education, it should really be, let's see what you're good at and what you enjoy doing, and let's run with that, because ultimately that's going to get you somewhere in life, because you enjoy doing it and you're good at it.
The whole system will get dumbed down in certain areas because of this. You can see that, and there will be a lot of us it'll actually castigate that type of system, but it's not absolutely necessary. It's like what Einstein used to say about telephone numbers. He said, why would I want to remember telephone numbers in my mind and clutter it with telephone numbers if I could just write it down on a bit of paper
and go back to it when I need it?
Yeah, and I'll just look it up when I need it. So why would you want to constantly learn how to? I'll be really way out there when I say this. Why would you want to learn how to read if somebody could just read it on a computer for you, read it to you?
That's a bit controversial, I know, but I get your point. Definitely.
But that's extreme. Yeah, that's extreme. Why would you need to if you can get by doing that? I bet there's a lot of successful people out there that actually can't read.
Yeah, it's why have a dog and bark yourself?
Yeah. So if it's not absolutely necessary to what you do, the argument is, do you actually really need to do it? What's the point? And you'll have the one kind of thinkers out there go, no, you have to be able to. It's like the old thing about, it brings me back to I'm going to be a pop star. It's like, yeah, mind and get your education just so you've got something to fall back on. All right, thanks, mum and dad. So you actually think I'm going to fail and I need my education because I'm not that good.
You're going to need that to fall back on, yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. And whereas I'm a bit like now, it's Monte Carlo or bust. I mean, I did that with my kids as well. It's like, I did say to them, and I would say to every child at this point in time, if you are listening or any parents in that, please get a broad education. Get a broad education. In other words, maths, English, even though you don't like it, get a broad education. One of the most essential ones a lot of people do not do is finance. Bookkeeping, accountancy, understanding what, debit and credits and balance sheets and profit and loss accounts. That is essential to everything, even your home budgeting. That's the sort of thing you should get a broad grounding in when you're at primary and also when you're at secondary school. Then you can go and decide what you want to do and specialise later on, but get a broad education in these subjects and then start specialising from there about what you think you really love the best and lean into that and become outstanding at it. You're paid for your value in the marketplace. You're not paid for what you think you're worth. You're paid for the skills that you acquire in the area of expertise that you specialize in, and that's why. I mean, why do people pay a lot? I was speaking to someone today, messaged me about, do you know a mortgage broker? And I went, well, what about this person? Oh, they're charging £2,000 to arrange a mortgage. I went, well, you've told me the circumstances of your mortgage, and the fact that no one else can do that for you. And I've seen on social media, you've been around everybody else asking
Right.
for advice, and you've wasted all your time doing that. I says, you would be better just paying that in the first instance and actually saving
And
yourself
getting
all
it
that
done.
time. I says,
Yeah.
you're not paying them to do a basic mortgage, you're paying them for their expertise in getting you that mortgage. That's what people forget. You're paying someone in terms of that specialist. Now, this person then makes £2,000, where another person will just make 500 quid. But then that's because of their expertise, because they know how to do it in that field. No one else knows how to do it. That's what you're paying for, because they did all the work in private to appear for these few seconds in public. Yeah, I've done it. And everybody thinks, oh, it must have been easy. No, it was a huge amount of work that went on in the background.
Yeah, and if somebody's able to deliver results and do something in a lot better time scale and you know all these types of things, then of course you're gonna pay a wee bit more for that service, because it comes with, like you say, all that skill and experience behind the scenes.
Let me explain. Jim Rohn actually said it once.
Okay.
We're all equal as souls. Tony Robbins was talking about this as well, but we're not equal in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do more for others than anyone else in the marketplace than your competition. You're rewarded in public for what you constantly practice in private. And people are starving for wisdom, not information. People are starving for wisdom. Do you really know what you're doing? Do you really know what you're talking about? That's what they're asking for. So when you do that, that's when you'll get results, and you'll attract the people that will be your raving fans eventually, and you will build a successful business.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the most important thing. You're rewarded in public for what you constantly practice in private. I read every day. I listen to a podcast every day. Not a full one, remember. I'm not reading a full book or a full podcast. I'm listening to excerpts. I am constantly, because the algorithms understand me, seeing things that are relevant to my journey. Inspirational people. I'm constantly absorbing new information, new ideas, new practices to assess each time, is that relevant? No, well, chuck it out with your brain. No, well, chuck it out of your brain. Actually, this one is. And this is one of the ones that I just picked up the other day, as well as some others that I've talked about there now. And this is what is so important, and understanding that you're paid for your expertise. And you should reward people on their expertise to get you the result they want.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And there's a lot of outside noise. And I was going to move on to talk about systems and how systems can beat like the hustle. And there's a lot of noise about hustle culture and things nowadays. And that could really, like you're saying, is that relevant to me? No, put out your brain, because it will just hold you back or knock you off
Well,
track.
what is hustle? What is hustle when you think about it?
Mm-hmm.
It's different to everybody in terms of what their meaning is.
Yeah.
Hustle to me is preparation and readiness and for opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
To me, hustle is preparation, and then something will turn up, an opportunity will turn up, and you'll be prepared for it. It goes back to my original statement. It's all about, by the time the opportunity appears, if you're not prepared for it, you've lost it.
Yeah.
And so hustle to me is that. Hustle to you might be something else. Hustle to someone else is just like, oh, just, Del Boy sort of way. It's like, that's no me.
Mm-hmm.
But we all put a different definition on hustle.
Yeah, and like you say, I've said in the notes here that systems beat the hustle, and I think definitely for you, and I know your business model, Jim, is things like where wealth comes from systems like long-term ownership and compounding wealth and skills and things over the long term, as opposed to this overnight quick wins and quick success. and your systems that you've put in place help you achieve that.
Yeah, yeah. And we spoke about this the other week about the fact that I could just sit and do nothing, and I'll still, in 36 years' time, I'll hit a number that I was after.
Yeah.
Even sit and do nothing. And if I don't hit it, I'll get damn close to it. So why would I worry then?
Yeah. And that's where, like, you should ask yourself questions, but you've already answered these questions. It's like, how do I stop relying solely on a monthly income? I mean, you're far surpassed that, obviously. And how do you make money behave more like an employee than a master to you? Do you know, the money's working for you rather than you working for the money, and things like that. And like you say, obviously, you've already
Well, how
achieved
do you
that.
stop relying solely on a monthly salary then?
Well, then you set up, like, for instance, your buy-to-let business. You're saying you could sit back and earn money without doing anything because you've put in the work and put in the systems and put in everything for that to do that without your ability to perform being involved in that. You have systems and teams and things that do that for you because you realised what you had to do and implemented that. And it's taken time. Do you know, it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen over a couple of years. It happened over, well, we'll say the last 20 years.
30.
30.
Probably, to be honest, more than 30. Because when I first met my mentors, I wasn't into property investment. It was only about, maybe 5 years into that.
Yeah.
I started to go into property investment because I was convinced at that point, and they had actually convinced me that I could achieve what I wanted to achieve. So they gave me the confidence and belief in myself. This is what it all comes down to: belief and confidence. And then the other one is how do you make money behave more like an employee than a master?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah. And that's what you mean. You've got your money now works for you rather than you going to work every day and working for a salary for money.
Mm-hmm. So then how do you use the rules of the system instead of fighting them?
Well, and it's like things like your pension. So we spoke about your pension the other day. You worked out how to utilize your pension to your benefit. I won't go too much into it because I know it's a story you maybe want to tell in a separate time. But you have used the system to benefit you rather than thinking, oh, I'm getting taxed quite a lot, and my pension's not really worth putting into, which is not true if you do it correctly and utilize it properly.
Yeah. So what you do, how do you use the rules of the system instead of fighting them? You actually look at what it is and then work it out. This is an interesting comment because it actually makes me think of something I just commented about today on Eddie's post on LinkedIn about the housing market, about the government's putting some sort of rules or regulations, or they're bringing in regulations which is going to stop the housing, which is going to go in contrary to the housing crisis about having to build houses. Oh, they're going to tax house builders more to build houses. Sorry, you've got a housing crisis. And my genuine comment there was, my genuine comment to that was, I love it when the government does something stupid like that. I says it's like watching a circus and watching all the clowns, the clowns in the circus, where one of the clowns sets everything up properly, and another clown comes along and destroys it all. And that's what it's like watching the government. And I says, but do you know the greatest thing out of this, Eddie, is every time they do that, my wealth goes up. My net worth goes up every single time the government puts in a legislation, every single time they put in something else, every single time they do something to do with housing, my wealth just continues to go up because of that. They don't get it at all.
No, and it's crazy to think that, like you say, we're in this position where there's a housing crisis in the country, and they're going to they've put obstacles and making it more difficult for people to actually build houses. I mean, that just
can't evict tenants anymore. Okay, my wealth goes up. Rent controls. Okay, my wealth goes up. it's like you're just making a total hash of this.
Annual rent increases.
It's crazy. And you would think they would stop for a minute and actually ask the people, how will this affect? What will the ramifications? Because it's the first thing I do. When I'm going to implement something, I think, what is the ramifications? How does this go? So I've got this as the starting point, and then how does this all branch out into different areas, different people, different subsets, and then how does it branch out into the other subsets, and how does it affect all these different systems and people? And before I actually implement anything, I learned that from computers. And I've learned that from computers, because when I worked in manufacturing as a financial director, and a financial controller, I used to see the programmers implementing a fix, a bug fix. So they used to fix a bug in the system. But what happened when they fixed a bug is it then maybe deleted a part of another part of the system. So then they had to end up taking it out and then going back to status quo. And I'm thinking, if you'd actually thought about this in the beginning of how it affected everything else and worked all that out, then you wouldn't have done it in the first place, or you would have done it differently in order to make sure everything worked everywhere else. But no, they just do done is better than perfect, and we don't care how it affects anything. And if it does, yeah, it's a law of averages. We'll probably have more successes and we'll have failures in terms of that. So we'll just go for it. But that's what I learned in the beginning, to understand how it made me understand how it affects everything else, that sort of systems that they were putting in place. And I still think like that today. If I'm going to do a change here, how's it going to affect everything else?
Yeah, the done is better than perfect thing. Like, they roll these things out, and possibly they're not the right thing in the beginning, but do they ever go back and change them to make them right, or make them better, or make them work better? Not really. They just leave them.
No. Because in governments, the regime changes, or the minister changes, and there's a different person comes in with a different viewpoint of the world.
And then these things are left, and then they're not fit for purpose, and not relevant to what they're meant to achieve. Yeah.
Yeah. So just to the systems and hustle, you had maybe talked about this, about the different wealth that comes from systems. It's like automatic wealth, recurring revenue, long-term ownership, and compounding skills. And that's the sort of level you want to get to. It's kind of like the old adage about when you write a book. You know, you'll write a book in the beginning, it'll take you a lot of hours to write that book. Then you'll do some hustle. In other words, you'll go and do some seminars and that, and talk up the book, and you'll talk about things in the book, and then some people will actually buy the book. And if a lot of people buy the book, then you'll get a royalty off every single one. It's like music as well. You write the song, you sing the song, you release the song, you do the video, all the views, and you start to make money out of that. So you put all the work in the beginning, like a rocket taking off. It's all the work's done at the beginning to take off. And then once it's taking off and it gets into orbit, it's like, yeah, now we're coasting. And that then runs for you for after that. And all you're doing is just maintaining it a wee bit. It's like a wee bit, or the booster rocket can just to keep you going, orbiting there. It's like, I tell you what, we'll go to Mars. Like, we'll make a big effort and go to Mars now. So you put in a lot of effort again, and you get to Mars, and it's like, okay, we'll just start orbiting Mars now, and just a wee boost of the rocket now and again, once in a blue moon. And that's what that is. So that's the type of systems you want to put in for creating wealth. Where all the effort's put in at the beginning, temporally ambitious to be permanently lazy, and then it all works for you after that. Easier said than done. But once you understand that process, once you understand that process, you can just duplicate it every single time.
Yeah, and I think the key thing for me there, what you said, is once you understand the process of something.
Yeah, or you can get somebody to teach you that process. It's done it before. Remember, it's no just got it off a chat GTP. Oh, GPT.
GPT, yeah, chat GPT.
Whatever it is, aye. I keep thinking it's GTP, but it's GPT. Yeah, I should think about that. It's in alphabetical order, then GPT. Yeah, okay, good stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, you're absolutely right about knowing how things work and understanding things, and it's like using these kind of things, to these systems and things, to your advantage. And we talk about possibly ISAs and your pensions and, you know, company structures, knowing what allowances you have, and most importantly, your time as well. All these things, if you understand how to utilize these properly, can be a big advantage to you.
Definitely, ISAs and pensions and that are good ways of minimizing your tax bill, if not wiping it out completely. But they're actually beneficial. But you have to make sure you've not got huge costs go with it. So you've got arrangement costs of like 3% every year, and somebody's got arrangement costs on the same another pension, and they've both got the same return. Then you could end up wiping yourself out by about 300 to 500,000 at the end of the pension, just because your fees were a lot higher. So I mean, I'll talk about that at the PIN meeting, about pension stocks and investing in property as well at the PIN meeting in March. I'm dating this, by the way, because of that. But it's important, and if you want to reach out and know about more about that, then please feel free to contact us. I think for me as well is wealth probably rewards patience. Not excitement. It's understanding to not upset the apple cart, and that's when we come onto property and how important property is in that portfolio. Interestingly enough, there's a rhetoric out there. They're not wanting anybody else to buy property for rent, and it seems to be it started in America, and will it come to the UK? I don't know. But there seems to be a big turn against property. But the great thing is, because I'm in it now, my wealth continues to go up because of that. Because it's like, it just makes it more short in supply. Therefore, my property becomes more attractive and is filled more and more in demand. So therefore, we benefit as a result of it. It's kind of a win-win situation for us.
It's a big advantage, especially because you're so well established in property and have been for a lot of years. If something like that was to start becoming the reality in Britain and the UK, then it wouldn't affect you. It would probably actually be advantageous to you. In all honesty,
the banks favour property over land. They're not interested in land because land's nothing. It's just land. But the banks love property, and they'll let you borrow against property. They're not too keen on shares unless it's blue chip stock, or unless it's in a fund which guarantees a return, or unless it's a huge amount, and they can get the option to sell the stock if it's a PLC, if it starts to drop to the amount that they need in order for the loan to be materialised. That's probably important. So it's when we talk about hitting the button, it's you've got it here means seeing property clearly. Not as a guaranteed win, although you can almost guarantee a win.
I was just going to say, you disagree with that.
Not as a moral obligation, because it's a business, remember, and not as the only path. You remember, I invest heavily in property, but in a certain type, I know my exit strategy if I need to. I don't want to, but if I need to, I can easily exit if I want to. I make sure there's an exit somehow. You don't close all the doors behind you, and you obviously invest in things like pensions. You invest in limited companies in order to minimise your tax, or the tax that you're paying, not what the company's paying. By the way, there's no way of getting out of that, and that's the thing. It's an asset class, and it's not a personal thing. It's like I love it because it's just numbers to me. I'm a numbers person. It's just numbers, and it is about people ultimately, and it's a service you provide to them. But when it comes to the initial response of property, it's just it's just numbers. It's monopoly. That's it.
You can't be too. You need to depersonalize it a bit to a certain extent, where you don't get too emotionally involved and do treat it like a business to a certain degree.
Yeah, and some will build wealth through property, some will businesses, others will through markets, most through a combination of a lot, like what I did.
What I think as well with property, and it's always like bricks and mortar are a really good way to leverage yourself.
Yeah.
To leverage your position and get you to that next stage.
It definitely gives you leverage. If you sit on property for the next 20 years, like I've done now and again, or 10 years or whatever it is, well, it goes up in value. Your loan to value obviously gets lower and lower and lower. Therefore, when you come to see another opportunity, you're in a really good position, and you could just go to the bank and say, look, I need another million, I need another 500,000, I need another 100,000 or 50,000 because I want to get this, and I've got this amount of equity, and you've only got this amount of lending with us. Say 20, I think I was at 25% loan to value at one point, and that allowed me to then release everything and buy a huge portfolio. That's it. Straightforward as that. And I'll do the same again and again and again and again. I was asked a question this morning. I was doing a LHA, local housing allowance survey for the government about would you take local housing allowance? What's the problems with local housing allowance and stuff like that? And I filled it honestly. But when it came to are you going to be selling, buying, or expanding in the next couple of years, I went, no, I'm probably just going to stay as I am.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy being bored.
And we're going to talk about that a wee bit, about the boring side, like the long view. I'm going to go into that. But just quickly there, I think that a lot of people I see nowadays starting out and they're buying houses, and they never really actually think about, well, why are you buying the houses? What is the purpose? And I mean, not to answer the question for you, but I know that you started your journey in buying houses. It was to provide housing for people and help people that were in a position where they were in receipt of benefits, but also to build a legacy and your own legacy for your own family. And you had all these visions, and that's why you were doing it, and you understood that. And I do see a lot of people just buying houses and let's just buy houses and make money. And it's like, but why? Why are you doing it? And they don't have it. That they probably won't be able to answer that.
It's probably because sometimes it's because they're in a group of certain type of people, and they're all doing it. So I may as well do it at the same time, and they're all patting each other on the back about how successful they are, but they've actually not got any thought process about what they're going to do. How they're going to, I'm going to buy things and I'm going to go on lots of holidays and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But when all that is done and said, it's just things.
Are you going to give anything back? Are you going to?
I think the key is, does it give you fulfillment?
Not happiness, fulfillment.
Yeah. Does it give you fulfillment? Now, I actually talked to someone just the other day again, because I have numerous conversations with people because they start asking me questions. And I said, so what are you going to do in 36 years' time? I said, when that happens, when that goal that you're going to hit happens, I went, I might just give it all away. Because I was only after the journey. So I might just create the Parker Foundation, the charity, the trust. And just put it all into that. Just put it all into that. And give it for the benefit of, and just use it for the benefit of other people. But your kids. It's like, well, I'll give them a certain amount, but they're any huge amounts. Good. By the time I reach that time, 36 years, the kids will be retired. They'll have their own pensions. They'll have all their own stuff. That'll all be paid off, and all the rest of it. They'll be in a really comfortable position. So, what am I going to do it? So I was just going to say,
your kids are already kind of well established on their way to being secure in their own right as well.
This aligns with my overall objective, which has always been at the back of my mind, to create the Parker Foundation. Just like the Wellcome Foundation, which is the Wellcome Trust, and the people at the pharmaceutical company, and all the other foundations. It's like all these different things. I think for me, that is the ultimate legacy. The Caldwell Trust. Look at that, John Caldwell. He gives most of his money into the Caldwell Trust is for children. So why can I not do something like that? Maybe for the people of Fife.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of thing. So it's about long game, and it's about understanding that. It's about legacy. It's about legacy, but it's long game. Property is never. When it comes to property and wealth creation should be a long game. It should not be a short-term thing, get rich quick, because it's very unlikely you're going to get rich quick. Yeah, I've won in crypto, and then the following day I've lost it all.
Yeah, you're back to zero.
Now, my prejudice has probably put a lot of people off investing in crypto in the last year. In the last year, if you invested in crypto, you probably would have made quite a bit of money. If you're cashed out.
That's a big risk.
Yeah, if you're cashed out, but I think it's gone down again. So it's all very well saying that at that point, if I'd invested on January the 15th and I'd sold on December the 16th,
but how would you know that?
I would have made a mint. And it's like, okay, but if your granny had balls, you wouldn't be here. That's effectively what you're
This
saying to
probably
me
knows
in a
we're in
cruder
Scotland.
way. That's effectively what you're saying to me, eh?
Yeah, I
In a
know.
cruder way, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's entirely possible nowadays, isn't it?
Possibly.
Oh dear.
But I think especially with your journey, Jim, and as you shared, it does really demonstrate that the long game does reap rewards, and it's definitely like the consistency over, really intensely over like a short period of time, or having that patience over, like prediction. Like the crypto thing. Be patient in your investments rather than try and predict these points where you could maybe make quick wins, and definitely learning over ego as well.
Mm.
And you're bound to have had years where you maybe thought, in the early years, like nothing seems to be happening. But did you have confidence in the fact that that was all part of the process?
Yeah, I think I used to question it all the time. It's like, I wanted it done quicker, faster, all the rest of it, and everything
Mhm.
like that. 'Cause I knew it was only a matter of time. The quicker I could do it, the easier the quicker I'll get to my goal. Because it is the time. But this is what I said. It's about my next goal is like 36 years.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, how can I speed up that 36 years? How can I bring that goal closer? That's all you really think about. But it's the realization and understanding that could be the case. And it's fine. And the acceptance to have that goal, to think about that and accept it and have that, and just go, well, it's just one of these things. But it's the discipline to stay the course.
To stay on
Yeah,
track.
because a lot of people will cash out and they'll go, I tell you what, I'm going to sell everything now because I think I've only got 10 years left.
And a lot could change in 10 years, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost it reminds me of when I used to work at Standard Life. We used to calculate the surrender values for policies,
Mhm.
and people would write into us a year before the policy was about to eventually mature, and they would say, how much is my policy worth, because I'm thinking about cashing it in. I'm like, what? It's like, your policy is worth £20,000 now. If you wait one more year, you'll get £40,000.
Doubled, yeah.
You'll get it doubled if you wait one more year. And some of them actually said, I'm just going to cash out now.
I would never
What?
do that.
That's mental. But that's what happens in life. And then these type of people look back sometimes. They either go,
I
thank
should
God
have
I
waited.
cashed out. Thank God I cashed out, because you maybe do pass away, or your wife's passed away, or your partner's passed away, or your friend's
Mhm.
passed away,
Yeah.
and you've been on that fantastic holiday, the once in a lifetime, and they've experienced it. I've been to see people like that, where they've been in their early 50s and they're retired, and then in the early 60s it is a terminal diagnosis, and they've sat there with me and said, thank God. This one was, I took my husband and we went on all these different safaris and all these places around the world before he passed away.
Well, that's obviously different.
But they never knew it was coming.
Mhm.
They just thought, we'll do it now. We'll
Yeah.
do it now while we're early enough and old enough. And it's like, that's why I've done what I've done. And I've been to America for a month, Necker Island quite 3 times now. And then starting diving all around the world, climbing mountains all around the
Yeah.
world, things like that. Because I think to myself, I would hate to get to my deathbed and think to myself,
I should have done
I,
all that.
I, I delayed my gratification far too much.
Yeah. And left it too late. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will never get to my deathbed, even if it was tomorrow, and think to myself, I'm disappointed at the fact that I never did whatever it is.
Yeah. And you can't put a price on experience like that.
Yeah, and that's what that wisdom and experience came from, people that I've met on my journey
Mhm.
for basically selling houses and getting them to the right stage in their life through selling their house or renting their house, or through buying a house even.
Yeah. And just talking to people. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a person contact me just yesterday, and they talked about, I heard that you've just climbed Kilimanjaro. It's my 60th. I'm climbing Kilimanjaro next week. Have you got any tips? And it was somebody actually in St Andrews that I had helped buy a house
Uh-huh.
in St Andrews. So they came back to me, and that's where they knew me from 4 years ago. I'd helped them buy a house. They found out from a friend. that I had climbed just recently, and they were asking for some tips because they had no idea what to do or what to expect.
Yeah.
And the things that I told them, they went, nobody told me that. And I went, that is the things that are essential. Drink 5 litres of water a day from day one so you acclimatise.
Which is going to make them a lot better prepared for what they've got coming.
Absolutely, absolutely. But that's the experience and expertise and the wisdom that comes with that. So, yes. And again, if you think about that, that's compounding wealth.
Yeah.
That's not monetary wealth, but that's valuable information that you compounds from other people over a period of time. And the fact that I'm talking about it here, it then compounds to other people as well. And that's that network about how many people have you truly influenced in your life? How many people have you actually looked after? How many people have been reliant on you? And I could tell you, if you think it's a handful, think again. Because it's reached into loads of other people's lives, especially if you're prolific as what we are.
I think sharing your experiences and your knowledge and is such a profound thing. And like you say, it has a big ripple effect. And if you've got
it here, Richard. It's the ripple effect. It works quietly, it works slowly, and then it works all at once.
That's compounding effect, yeah.
So let's wrap up here in the conclusion, because that's us got to the
we'll wrap up
the right point.
I mean, it's funny how we could start with a subject and we go off in so many different directions, but it is all very relevant. But in conclusion for today, I think really take responsibility for learning, for planning, and like we say, thinking for the long term in this really short term world that we've got, this this really short overnight culture that we live in. And especially in this country, the choice matters more than ever. Make the right choices, because the systems that we have today reward those who understand it. Whether that's pension schemes or ISAs and how buy-to-let works, and it quietly kind of penalises people that really ignore how things actually properly work and understanding them. So I think it brings us to the question is whether you're ready to press that button and keep it pressed long enough for that compounding to do what it's always done for a long time.
It's been able to understand it is actually, if you don't need it, what's the point of cashing it in?
Yeah.
If you know it's compounding every single time, if you don't need it, why would you cash it in then?
Leave it and let it do its thing.
Just let it work. Let it work. Oh, there's going to be a crash next year. Yeah. But if you're going to go on for the next 10 years in terms of housing, that's just going to recover and everything will be fine again. But in that period of time with the crash, then you'd be still earning all these rents as well, over and above. The cash flow is the most important thing. It's not the capital appreciation. Doesn't matter what the price of the property is. Who cares? It's the money that comes in and generated as a result of the property still having somebody in it. That's it. Nutshell. In a nutshell.
And it comes back to having the understanding of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, right. Let's wrap that up there today. Thank you, Jim, for that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will, of course, be back next Monday at 12:30 for the Wealth Creation Show, and we will catch you then.